A very warm welcome and thank you so much for keeping it KTS. Of course, welcome to our today's episode of the Straight Talk program. I'm your host Regina Olado, and with me in the show is our resident panelist or our political analyst Benjamin Olenja, and on my immediate left is a pretty lady, Mrs. Elizabeth Nyambura, MCA candidate, Langas Ward in Uasin Gishu County. So I believe that it's going to be a very interesting show, so keep it KTS. Welcome to the show, gentleman and lady. Mr. Nyambura, kindly first, before we move to national politics, let's get to your political ambitions. Why do you think you are the right candidate to be the next member of County Assembly for Langas Ward?
We have gone through many problems in Langas.
Okay.
I've been working in that community since 2010. I started a community-based project which is serving the community, and we've gone through so many challenges in that community. And as it is now, the current MCA has neglected some areas. Some areas are developed, some areas are not developed. I think it's like promoting tribalism in Langas, because you see the areas like Yamumbi is more, they have good roads and all that. You go to areas like Kisumundogo, that area is neglected. And we've really tried to do a lot within that community, seeking his support, but we've not gotten the support that we really needed. And if you look at the situation in Langas, it's worse. Look at the roads, look at the drainage system, the garbage, everything is wrong in Langas. And I feel that I'm the right person to bring that change that is much needed in Langas, because I've been working with that community, and in my own capacity I've tried to support as many as possible to empower. I've empowered the youth, I've empowered the women, and there are projects I'm running within that community that has really empowered the community. And look at what, if you compare with what our current MCA has done in terms of empowering the community, I think I've achieved more than he has. And I'm not yet an MCA. So I feel the resources that are being mismanaged can be put in better use to ensure that we continue to empower that community in a bigger way. And that is if I'm an MCA. And in any case, we've never had a woman MCA. I'm the first. And I feel that I have the trust of everybody, because I don't work with any tribe per se. I work with Luos, I work with Kikuyus, I work with Kisis, I work with Luyas, everybody. In my project I have both NASA, I have Jubilee, I have Chama Shinani, I have everybody. So I'm for everybody.
You're mentioning about your project. So what's this project about?
Yeah, we have a project that is Solwogidi project. We support girls and women in the community. And we have 38 support groups that we are supporting. We have helped those women start income generating activities. We have a vocational training center where we are helping the vulnerable in the community, those girls that were not able to go to school because their parents were not able to go to pay for their school fees, and they were not able to access even college. And now we are giving them skills that has enabled them. Almost 400 of the girls have gone through the vocational training center, and I can say 90% of them are working. If you walk within Langas, you'll see shops, salons. Those are the girls that we have supported in our center. And we also have an ECD center where we are supporting girls, children of those girls, because most of them were teenage mothers, and their children were not going to school. ECD is not free in Kenya. So we've been supporting children. Even within the community, those who are loitering around, we've been helping them. And in fact, we have rescued 6 children who had gone through sexual exploitation. We have put 5 of them in homes, and we have even others that we have also taken for treatment after being abused by the fact that they are just idle and doing nothing within the community. So we've been trying to support children, we've been supporting girls, and we have also been working with schools. We are working with 15 schools in Uasin Gishu County. We have a life skills program. In Langas, we are working with 5 schools. And what we do is just help these children to make informed choices in terms of their life, in terms of making decisions that will help them, even becoming assertive in terms of saying no to abuse and to sexual exploitation.
Okay. And you said that you'll be running as an independent candidate.
Yes.
And of course, we've seen the kind of rebellion that independent candidates face, especially in this region where those who are nominated on the Jubilee ticket have made it clear that, you know what, there's no space for independent candidates. So, I mean, what gives you that confidence that you'll make it?
I will make it because I think when you look at political parties, look at Jubilee, you'll see let me give an example of Langas ward.
Okay.
You'll see the Kikuyus, they affiliate to Jubilee party.
Okay.
You look at the Luos, they are in ODM, and you look at the Luyas and all the NAS outfit, you see they promote tribalism. But as I said, I work with both NASA and Jubilee. And they both support me because I don't affiliate to any.
Okay.
I don't believe in party politics. I don't believe in tribalism. And I think it's time that we have independent candidates who don't affiliate to those tribal politics.
Okay.
And I believe that people are also tired of tribalism because what we want is development.
Okay.
And in terms of serving the community, I've been serving the whole community without being biased in terms of tribes, in terms of which party one affiliates to. And at the moment, the Jubilee people that are in my project and in Langas, they accept Elizabeth.
Okay.
Those who are in NASA, they also accept Elizabeth. And that's why I say they are not affiliated to any party.
Okay.
Because I serve the whole community. Whether you are in NASA, whether you are in Jubilee, Chama cha Mashinani, or Maendeleo Chap Chap, they all belong to Elizabeth.
Okay.
Yes.
And you'll be running on an independent candidate ticket. And what's your perception now that you're one of them? Do you think independent candidates have a place in Kenya?
Yes, they have. And I believe that people are starting to see that. Because if you look at, leave those who went through nomination and they didn't go through, and then they just jumped into being independent.
Okay.
Those who are independent from the word go, I think they didn't also they didn't want to affiliate to those parties, and I think they have a bigger picture of Kenya, wanting to identify with everybody, you know, because if you are serving the community, you are serving everybody.
Okay.
And I think it's time that independents are also given a chance in this country, and I think even people have accepted. You have seen even Uhuru going to some areas and trying to campaign for the party nominees. But people insist that we want this candidate, don't dictate to us who we want.
Sure.
And in fact, the same applies to NASA. In some areas, he was told, we want this, don't decide for us whom we are going to vote for. Because people have started to look at individuals.
Okay.
Because it's not the party that is going to serve the community. It is the person that is going to serve the community. And some of the people who went through the nomination, there are people who cannot even bring development to the people.
Okay.
And people know that. So the people want to associate with somebody that will bring a difference, that will make a difference in their own life. Somebody who will bring development in their own locality or areas where they are standing.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much for that. Olenta, let me bring you in. I think independent candidates have a place in Kenya.
Independent
of
candidates.
Course, with regard to what she's mentioned.
Her views are good. But this is my view. You see, when you look at the independent candidates in the country, maybe for her she's unique because she's partyless and she has an open mind. Okay. But when you go to the real guys like contesting for governor, contesting for parliament, like when you go to Busia, you find somebody like Otuoma campaigning for the governor docket. But he says he's campaigning and also supporting who? Raila. You see, when you are an independent, you should totally be independent. You should not depend, because one thing that they are showing is that they are trying to seek affiliation to the leader in a party so that they can find also some votes that this guy carries within that locality. But if you are truly able to be independent, you should be independent in thoughts, you should be independent in action, you should be independent in decision, and you should be able to highlight to the people that as an independent candidate, I have seen in this area, our problem is 1, 2, and 3. Maybe water. She has said about garbage in her area, Langas. She has talked about the drainage system, the roads not equal to all the people of that area. Now, when you are an independent candidate, you should be able to highlight all these issues and tell the people that this is the way and I want us to walk this way. And if we can go this way, we shall be able to get this. But when you come back to our independent candidates, you'll find, for example, they had a meeting the earlier days. They went to, I think it was Karasarani, and they met and they made a declaration, and they said, us as independent candidate, we are supporting this side of the political divide.
Sure.
Some of them decided to support the side of Uhuru Kenyatta. Others decided to support the side of Raila Odinga. And you realize that shows they are not really independent. When you go to Siaya, you'll find people who have been going for, say, the docket of the governor. The guy says, I'm doing this, but I'm in the camp of who? Raila. And the people who know the law very well, they have also gone to the courts. They have challenged these independent candidates. You say you are independent, and yet you are using the symbols, the colors of our party. We want you to withdraw these things completely and be independent.
Okay.
And like yesterday, there was a case in the court for Vihiga, and among other areas. And the governor for Vihiga, Akaranga, was fined 500,000 shillings because he used the NASA colors and the NASA principles in his posters, because he's not totally independent. Independence comes from the mind and the things that you view on the ground.
Wow.
So as a country, we are not yet there.
But don't you think that should apply to all candidates? Because even in this region, we've seen the candidates that have their own posters, and then they have Uhuru Ruto pictures on their posters.
You see, it's not an issue. Even with the IBC, it's not an issue until a citizen who is concerned raises a question. Okay. So if I go to the court and challenge it, then he's called for disciplinary, and he's told that this is wrong. We are giving you 3 days to pull those posters down, and we are also charging you this amount of money. When you go to Siaya, for example, there's this constituency where this learned man called Otienda Amolo is contesting. His opponent, who was defeated in ODM elections, primaries, he went ahead to use the NASA colors and the NASA, the Raila and whatever. Okay. Then a citizen went to the court and challenged it. This guy was fined 250,000, which he was not able to pay. He was also told to pull his things down. He did not adhere to that until the measures became so severe on him. Okay. So as a country, when we look at it, we are not yet there. For example, when you go to the United States of America, you'll find there are those senators, there are those people leading constituencies, and they are independent. And they are independent and they are elected overwhelmingly because of the values they subscribe to, and the discipline and the obedience in which they are following their path as they chart their political, and they know the issues that affect the people. Okay. Like my sister is speaking about these issues. Maybe she needs to highlight them more so that the people of Langas can see that this is the people who speaks for us. Whether you are a Luo, whether you are a Kikuyu, whether you are a Kalenjin, people should see in you first a leader, because you know where you are leading them. But if you come and tell people, elect me because I support Raila, then you are lost. You are not independent. Okay. You need to recheck yourself well.
Okay. And back to you, Elizabeth. Langas has been spotted as one of the hotspots. Of course, the NCIC, the National Integration and the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, doesn't want us to use that term, hotspot. But of course, that's the word that has been used with the commission itself as a hotspot for violence after the August 8th general elections. What are you doing in your position as a candidate to ensure that we don't have violence in Langas?
In fact, I think this time things will change, because people of Langas have really changed. And I have a lot of faith in them. As Elizabeth, what I've done, we had an outreach for peace where we went around Langas talking about peace. Recently, we also had prayers with all the pastors in Langas and all the aspirants in Langas, and we were also preaching peace and even praying for peace in Uasin Gishu County, and particularly in Langas. What I can say is that now that people have really changed their views on whom to vote for, I don't think this time people will affiliate to party per se, or they'll vote individuals, because people really want change in Langas. They really want a leader, because what we have lacked is leadership. And I can assure you that I have a lot of support in terms of those who are in NASA, those who are in Jubilee.
Are you working together with youth? Because this is the lot that is usually being misused by our politicians.
Yes, we are working with youth, and in fact we are really emphasizing on the need for youth to be engaged positively, because they are misused because they are jobless and they are idle. And you can imagine the issue of alcohol is so much, and drug abuse in Langas is too much. And that's the advantage the leaders take. But we've been having forums to sensitize the youth on the need to keep peace. And in fact, they are even saying we are for peace this time. And I believe them, and I believe that they really want change. Especially they want Langas to be a place that people will be proud of. And they don't want to be associated this time with violence. From my own observation and from what we have done on the ground, people are really for peace. And I believe this time Langas will be peaceful. And they are not affiliating to parties, and they are looking at individuals. And that's why you can see somebody like Elizabeth, I am a Kikuyu. But you go to NASA, to Luos, they've accepted Elizabeth. You go to Luyas, all the tribes they are identifying with me, because I stand for everybody. And I stand for Langas. And what we want is change in Langas. And people really are yearning for that change. And they are looking at that leader who will bring that change. And yeah, I believe I'm that leader. Yeah.
And again, Langas is it's a ward, it's a ward that has a lot of gender-based violence, alcohol, drug abuse, as you put it. So how do you plan to deal with these issues? And again, what are the main pillars in your manifesto?
One thing that is lacking, as I said, is leadership. And as you see, when we have a devolved system of government, and participation is the most important thing in terms of bringing development and people, making people participate and getting people involved. One thing that we lack in Langas, people are not involved. And I said, one thing, I'll make sure that everybody participates and everybody is involved. And that's why I've come up with a structure for participation, working with committees. As you see, Langas is divided into blocks. If you go in Yamumbi also, the part of Langas that is Yamumbi, and it is also divided in sections. And the best way to work with people is working with the blocks, ensuring that you have working committees in every block, and making sure they are represented. Because as it is now, people are just working. You come with the development agendas which are not even inclusive. But if you work with blocks, you'll ensure that every part of Langas is touched by the development. People are participating. People are come up with their own priorities. Because I'll be working with the priorities that are given by the people themselves. Because if it's block 1, the needs of block 1 are not the same as block 2.
They're different.
So the block 1 people will come with their own priorities. Block 2 up to Yamumbi area. And another thing, when you look at security, the security in Langas is an issue. But why do we have insecurity? Youth are idle. And we know when youth are jobless and they are idle, taking alcohol, of course insecurity will go high. Because they just mug people, they engage in all sorts of social ills. And what we need in Langas is to create employment for these young people who are idle. And the next thing is rehabilitation, because we can see most of them are addicted to alcohol and drugs. What we need is a rehabilitation center in Langas that will ensure that these young people are rehabilitated. And when they come out of rehabilitation, they are able at least to do something.
How will you ensure that materializes? The rehabilitation center?
Like in Rescos, we have a rehabilitation center that is not well, it is not supported at all. It is a pastor who has volunteered just to bring that resort, to have a rescue center. And the sad thing is, he tries so much to help the young people come out of alcoholism. But after they have been treated and they have been rehabilitated, when they come back to the community, they have nothing to do. What happens is, we make sure that we create those job opportunities. Like in Langas, you look at Langas, there are so many job opportunities. The garbage management project that can employ so many youths. You look at, we have the youth fund, which many cannot even access because they don't even have that capacity, because nobody has built their capacity to access such a fund. We have, we can create a lot of jobs for youth to do in the community. And that is very possible. Even the waste management project, that is something that I have worked on. Even I have donors who were ready to support that project. But it was not possible because whenever you try to clean a place, people come and dump again. So it has been futile because we don't even have the support of our own MCA.
Okay.
And what we need are people who will come up with projects that will ensure that youth are positively engaged. In fact, even when we talk about development, if there are projects that are done within a block, make sure that people within that block are engaged. Give jobs to those people who belong to that block, and that way you will ensure that everybody is working and many people are at least doing something, other than also creating jobs for the youth. We have the recreational facilities. Like when we started in Langas, we have 16 football clubs for the girls. Those girls, they were called thieves, they were called prostitutes. But as I'm telling you now, some of them are in now Women Premier League.
Okay.
We have teams in Division 1 in Langas. Those that we are called thieves have transformed.
Courtesy of your project?
Yes, courtesy of my project.
Okay.
They stopped taking alcohol and drugs. They are now engaged, they are in vocational training, some of them. Some have completed, they have their own small businesses, they are operating, and they are playing football to that national level, you can imagine. Okay. It has really changed their life and it has transformed their lives. What we need is to have positive recreation for the youth, because they are very talented. You come to Langas, talent is there, okay, but people are not exposed. They don't have they don't have the opportunity to expose even their talent or even to grow their talent. And that's what we need to have in Langas. Have those recreational facilities where they'll be able to positively be engaged. Okay. And have also many centers like vocational training centers, even for those who cannot afford even going to those colleges. Okay. And then they have skills that will enable them also get self-employed, okay, or even get employment somewhere else.
Okay, Olenjo, let me get your opinion as far as what Ms. Nyambura here said as far as her name is concerned.
I think what she is doing in the community is actually good, because you see, a community that has neglected its youth is a community that is sitting on a time bomb. Okay. When it will erupt, it will not be able to contain itself. For example, youths are people with a lot of energy, are people with who you can use for both good and bad. If you equip the youth and you show them to do the right thing, you'll be in for something better. But if you allow them to go their way, they'll engage into prostitution, they'll engage into drug abuse, they'll engage into crime, and the whole society will be chaotic. If one person will try to come up with a kiosk, in the night it will be broken into. Sure. Lives will be lost. Therefore, it is good if you have leaders who can be able to see that in this community, like Lankas, is an urban center, sure, it's a town. And you see, I think it is one of the small areas that feeds deeply well into the main Eldoret town. And therefore, if this is such important and significant, it needs to ensure that the area around has stable leadership, okay, that the area also has good vision, so that people there are able to be engaged in activities that bring a return that can help them be better people in the society, okay, and especially the youths, okay, because the majority of the urban dwellers are youths. Yes. Are youths.
Right. Thank you so much for that. The Straight Talk program takes a short break, but stay right there with KTS.